Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to our webinar. As I said before, I'm Dana Stanley. I'm VP of Marketing at Survey Analytics. Today we're going to be learning how to easily set up and grow a research panel, and we'll be going over some specific tips about how to successfully engage with your panel members. If you have any questions or comments as we go along, please use the chat box or the question box in the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end. Now I'm going to turn it over to our co-presenters, Esther Lavielle, VP of Client Services at Survey Analytics, and John Johnson, Survey Analytics Account Manager. And John is also the Product Manager for Survey Analytics MicroPanel Panel Management Software. Esther and John?
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana, and welcome everyone to our webinar today titled Set Up, Grow, and Engage with Members of Your Panel. We're glad that you can join us today. And again, my name is Esther Lavielle, and co-presenting with me is MicroPanel Product Director John Johnson. And John and I, we actually used to work together at a market research firm in Seattle as project managers for several years before we came to Survey Analytics. So our combined background includes both research and software. And from the time I've known him, his specialty has always been building, maintaining databases, being able to identify the needs of our clients. And with his leadership, John is really making MicroPanel into a flexible yet dynamic panel management tool that fits businesses of all sizes. So again, thank you, John, for joining us today.
No, thank you, Esther. Thank you.
All right, so let's go ahead and begin today with a bit about Survey Analytics. Next slide. Great. So Survey Analytics, we started in 2002, and we're headquartered in oops, sorry, I heard some background noise there. We started in 2002, and we're headquartered in Seattle, Washington. We offer a do-it-yourself solution for online surveys, mobile surveys, panel management, and more. And we're also one of the fastest growing private companies in the US. And today's webinar presentation is brought to you by Survey Analytics do-it-yourself panel management tool called MicroPanel. And some of our clients include Creel Builder, Roku, Microsoft, Zynga, Adecco, and Ziff Davis Enterprises, and more. On our webinar agenda, on our next page here, we'll be discussing brief history of the online panel management landscape. We'll also be talking about, what's holding you back from starting your very own panel. Growing a panel, some simple strategies to get you started. We'll discuss rules of engagement, some smart and effective strategies and tips. The MicroPanel Advantage, engagement solutions made easy. Panel respondent experience, as well as the setup and incentive solutions available, and some new features as well. We'll also, excuse me. We'll also end the session today with just some brief discussion on our pricing and open up the floor to Q&A from our audience. So let's go ahead and talk about a brief history of the online panel management landscape here. So about 15 years ago, online panels, barely existed, and the use of online surveys were, fairly new and in its infancy. And with the advancements in technology and security and privacy, we've seen the online panel sector of the market research industry grow faster than other sectors combined. Specifically in the access panel companies. And these are companies that offer research firms and other business entities access to a sample of the population from various areas, demographics, income ranges. Also, they collect some consumer or political preferences and more. And essentially, they've done the job of recruiting people into these panels, and they create a rewards program that keep their panels thriving and available for purchase. A staggering 85% of online research is spent on these access panels. So that's quite a big number. So we know for certain that, with increased internet penetration worldwide, it will result in the creation of more of these access panels. So here you see the result. There's more access panel companies than there are ducks on this motorbike. This is a great picture of a man on his motorbike zipping along in Vietnam. And John, can you guess how many ducks are on here?
That's a great slide, Esther. I'm not sure how many ducks are on there. I have to imagine maybe 1,000 or more. Those baskets look pretty weighed down right there.
Yeah, I tried counting. I lost count probably after maybe 35. But I can definitely tell you that there are more access panel companies than there are ducks on this motorbike. And that's kind of the horizon of that landscape right now. So forget the ducks. I'm building my own. One thing I do want to reiterate here is that we here at Survey Analytics, we do partner and supply our clients with sample from many great panel companies. However, with the movement of the do-it-yourself survey software, many companies are looking to save money on projects by creating and maintaining their own custom panel. And the appeal to create their own panel stems from the fact that although access panels have a great deal of sample, they don't have specific information about their target audience, such as shopping or gaming habits that companies are already tracking. And companies also have access to massive email lists, or they have a great following on social media or websites, and now they want to start sampling, profiling, and collecting data for rapid data collection, and also be able to control the sample and incentivize on their own terms. And because 50% of all research projects are spent on sample alone, it makes sense for companies to start building their very own panel. So on this slide here, we're talking about reasons to build your own panel. John, can you share some main reasons why clients want their own panel, and elaborate by sharing your experiences where creating a panel has been beneficial to your clients?
Yes, Esther, most definitely. I mean, we hit some of the points here. I mean, speed, control, response, profiling, and cost, right? I mean, using MicroPanel, and which is fully integrated into Survey Analytics, you're achieving the speed. But with that, you also get a great bundle of tools that allow you to control over your panelists and members, and how you deploy out survey and gather research data from them. And the response, I mean, you're actively engaged, you're targeting, it's online, so it's immediate. And with the features for profiling, we're able to segment and make sure that the campaigns that we deploy out go to the right and the correct audience. And so at the end of the day, of course, there's a cost savings in it, and I'm seeing that with all my clients who come into the tool.
Great, thank you, John. Let's go ahead and move to the next slide. So what's holding you back? Thanks to our sales team at Survey Analytics, we came up with a list of top reasons why companies who generally agree that a panel would be a good fit for their needs, but they're holding themselves back from implementing a panel solution. And perhaps you're a person who've been interested in a panel, but you're on the fence due to several of these reasons, and we're going to address these head on. John, I'm going to have you read the following reasons, and I'll respond with the answers that the sales staff and I have put together.
Okay, so Esther, I don't really have an engagement strategy. What should I do?
Good question. The first thing I would ask here is, how are you currently interacting with customers and potential clients? Are you using surveys, social media, mailers, calling? How are you currently interacting with them? And if so, if you are using any of these strategies right now, or any kind of marketing campaign, then you already have an engagement process in place, believe it or not. And with MicroPanel, what we can do here is use the tools available and provided by this tool to enhance these current engagement strategies. So instead of just getting feedback from surveys, we can profile these respondents, we can track their answers from multiple surveys across a span of even several years if need to, and we can interact with them and track both quantitative and qualitative trends easier than ever before.
But it's going to cost too much, right?
Our sales and our account management staff understand that, price and value are important. And with, the micropanel's ability to set up the panel solution faster than the competition drives a tremendous value. And being a former project manager, I can tell you that some of my former clients have paid my companies between $50,000 to $100,000 a year to run even a focus group project in the Seattle-Portland area. So a panel management solution can be built to include customers worldwide, not just in a specific market, which is much more cost effective.
Okay. Well, you kind of touched on the setup, and I feel like it's going to take too long. But also, who will manage this?
So the first question here we would ask, how long is too long for you? One of the unique things about MicroPanel is that it can be set up in less than an hour with the assistance of our account managers. And we keep the process simple, so you don't have to hire an expert to build or maintain your panel. And if you think that it takes someone to manage a panel full time, actually, that's always not the case. There is a learning curve that is in place. However, you can leverage that with our expertise in recommending some best practices on the front end, and also count on dedicated support from day one, so you can spend time focused on other projects.
Well, right now, I don't have a data.
It's all right not to have a database of current emails. We offer the ability to purchase database through QSample, our sampling division, and you can also recruit panelists through social media, through your website, blog posts, web advertising, and web presence optimization strategies, and more.
Well, we don't have a money or a budget to reward these panelists. Do I have to reward them?
Oftentimes we find that panelists aren't always looking for a reward, and sometimes they just want to be appreciated. Money isn't the only reward that people react to, and we've seen clients have success with offering discounts, special tips and tricks on how to do things, and early knowledge of sales or special discounts. And there are many options that we can recommend that are not costly, but can keep your panel healthy and the retention very high.
Well, to get the buy-in from my boss for this, it seems like it's going to take too long for the return on investment.
Again, we do want to ask you, how long is too long? With the easy interface that MicroPanel has, we literally can put together a panel faster than ever before. You don't have to wait 3 months. You can do it in less than 30 minutes. And also, MicroPanel offers the ability to export your panel groups for access to third parties if need to. And we found that that's a great way to market your list to others and make some additional revenue. So does
Okay.
that satisfy all your concerns, John?
Hey, I think I'm ready to go.
Great. So let's go ahead and move on to growing your panel. So here, a strategy to grow your panel really depends on who and where your target audience is and what kind of resources do you have available for use. A company with 2 million Twitter followers but only a small email list is going to use a different recruiting tactic versus the company with access to 2 million current emails but with no social media presence. So depending on who your audience is, you may need to use different avenues to target potential panels members. On the next slide here, John, from your experience working with our clients, what kind of panel growth strategies would you recommend? Actually, I guess it's on the other slide.
Well, let's talk about this here. And here's one of our clients, which is the Washington State Transportation Group, and they have what they call the Ferry Riders Opinion Group, and this is a panel or community of those who use the ferry as their transportation system. And as a way to get one of the strategies they used to get more people involved is to create these posters and place them on the ferries. And what you'll see here is it says, "Join the frog, tell us how we're doing." Okay? Kind of a call to action there, but then we ask a question, right? Use your mobile device to scan one of the square codes and tell us how you think the Washington State Ferry is a good value for fare you paid or not, and join the frog panel. So we're getting data. If they scan the thumbs up, that gets recorded. They scan the thumbs down, that gets recorded, right? So we get to know if it was good value or poor value, and we get that data instantly, okay? And as well as they're immediately taken to join the Fairy Writers Opinion Group, in which they can become a community member now. And what I always suggest is having the URL available. So, if they don't want to vote, they don't want to use QR codes, now they can just go straight to the fairywritersopiniongroup.com and register, either later or online from their phone right then and there. Because yes, some people do not have a QR code reader or do not know what that is. But look, what we're doing here is we're introducing technology as well to those who don't have it. So this one poster does a lot. And I have to, applaud them for that.
Great. And can we go back to the last one? I apologize. I should have let you start there.
It's fine. So what we can also talk about too in that is there's a lot of different strategies in amongst that. The Fairy Writer Opinions Group was a good example of pulling some things in and putting them together out of this list that we have here. But yes, you can use your existing emails if you have them. Why not? Social media, if you already have it built up, if your Facebook is rocking and rolling and you have a great Twitter following, well, ask them to join the community and get more engaged. Search engine optimization, SEO as some may know it, it's out there. People are using it, works, it's been tested. Affiliate marketing, website advertisements, and industry trade lists and partnerships. And I want to stop at partnerships because many are already part of other communities or other groups of business leaders or other organizations, and you all can pull together either from a financial standpoint where it's a win-win on both ends, or even if it's thinking about what am I going to ask my community? What am I going to deliver to them? You guys can share in that responsibility. Of course, the traditional methods, the mailers, you're sending out a mail-out survey or a postcard, put that QR code on there, put that URL on there, and ask them to join. Store displays, if you have a storefront or if you have a home, again, URLs and codes together, always great. Good example of that was the Washington Transportation Commission and their Fairy Writers Opinion Group. Telephone calls. When I was working in qualitative, hey, we have the study happening the next day. The recruiters are calling to make sure people are going to be showing up for that focus group at 7 p.m. that evening. One more question. Would you like to join our community? Okay, put it out there. In-person recruitment is great, especially if you're doing the face-to-face untethered stuff, or if you're using our Survey Pocket, which is a tool that we have, or if you're doing the traditional method and you're just using a clipboard and paper, go ahead and get the email address there. Go ahead and ask them if they would like to join the community. And again, any print media, put it on there. If you have the opportunity, all these things are available to you. Go for it.
Great, thanks, John. So basically, to sum it up, really, the best thing in all cases is to opt for a multi-channel recruitment strategy.
Yes,
so basically, just use what you can, use all the resources you can to reach out to your target audience. You'll be surprised in terms of what kind of people will be drawn to your panel. So let's go ahead and talk a bit about engagement. And now we can agree that the strategy really depends on where your target audience is. And because of that, the steps for engagement are to be treated differently on a case-by-case basis. But with that said, we do want to present to you what we like to call MicroPanel's rules of engagement. John, have you seen that movie with Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel Jackson?
Have it in my DVD collection.
Oh, you do? Okay, well, maybe I'll need to borrow it. I haven't seen it in such a long time. But just to give you guys a quick update about the movie, basically, Samuel L. Jackson's character saves Tommy Lee Jones's character's life in the Vietnam War. And then years later, Tommy Lee Jones is now a lawyer, and he's asked to represent Samuel L. Jackson in a court case for a war crime. And the famous movie tagline is, a hero should never be left, a hero should never stand alone. And I was inspired by that and came up with a MicroPanel parody tagline that is very true, which is, a panelist should never be left alone. It's important that we connect with our members and not just use them when you need them. Make sure to feed the fire. So, for example, create some sort of 5-question survey on some current events. You know, panelists like to contribute and they want to see that we're listening to them. Keep the panelists busy with online discussion forums, chats, online focus groups, and such. And make sure rewards are what your panelists want. You know, I highly doubt that teens between the ages of 12 to 18 would be interested in taking a survey in exchange for discounts for geriatric medication. And I'm sure that it's highly unlikely that the elderly population would be interested in taking a 20-minute survey for a chance to win tickets to a Justin Bieber concert. Although you never know.
You never know. You never know. Bieber has fans, Esther. Bieber has fans.
He does. He does. I'm kind of sort of a closet fan myself. So always make sure to stay on message and understand your panel audience. And it's always important to make sure that even though you're going to be asking them some other questions and engaging them, you know, in different ways, including current events, that it's pertinent to the message that you have and why these people are on your panel. Also, never ever abuse the panel. This will help, you know, reduce some respondent fatigue and also keep your responses high. And by talking about abusing the panel, I got this from Redley Raphael. He's the president over at QSample, and you know, we just want to make sure that, you know, that our clients will be exercising due diligence and making sure that your interactions with them, you know, are really on their terms. So with that, make sure that as a person who is providing or talking to your audience, that you are an advocate to your panelists. So, you know, if the company would like to have a lot of questions asked, instead of bombarding them daily with, you know, 30-minute surveys, you know, keep it light and fun and easy to get answers from, and come up with a strategy that everyone can be happy with.
Okay.
Great. So next slide.
So building your panel with micropanel, Esther. I want to talk about that a little bit, and I kind of want to take a look under the hood. I mean, we've talked about the rules, so let's talk about the tools as well. Now, I think we were talking a little bit back there about, you know, the time. So you got 3 months? Probably not. But let's try 30 minutes, right? I mean, most would say that, you know, 3 months is going to be too much time. You need to get out. You need to get data going. 3 months, there's more cost implications. But 30 minutes sounds better. And some of the things that you're going to achieve, and I want to point these out before we take a look on the back end, you're going to get a community portal for your panel and registration and profile management. You're going to have panel engagement tools, which are going to allow you for quick polls, message boards, and respondent management. And that's just to name a few. You're going to have a unified software platform. So you get the surveys, you get the reports, you get the advanced analytics in addition to the panel management. And your data delivery and online reporting. So, and it's all integrated once again. You get to reward your customers. So we have solutions for that, such as points, cash, and gift cards. Unlimited surveys with Survey Analytics, so no additional data collection charge. And there's no upfront development charge. Panels can be created within minutes, and we're going to actually take a look at that. So, you know, we're throwing out this 30-minute thing, but we're going to show you how that's possible. Integrated with Survey Analytics Enterprise Research Platforms, I want to reinforce that. Integrated with Survey Pocket, which is our for iPad and tablet surveys, so face-to-face untethered. Integrated with Survey Swipe, which is great for the smartphone users. You know, so if you're looking at your panel and you know that you have you have that segment who are using smartphones and their heads are buried in it. You know, we see it all day as we're walking down the street or we're on the bus or, you know, we're commuting. We see that people are buried into that smartphone. Why not have a survey appear on their phone? And we're also integrated with IdealScale, which is our crowdsourcing tool. And when I say integrated, when we see integrated 4 times here, I mean you only have to log into one place. You only have to create one survey. And it is deployed out to all these mechanisms, and all that data is collected in real time and fed back into the survey analytics reporting tool. So let's do a demonstration. Let's actually take a look at that. And I first want to actually put you in the shoes of a potential member, okay? Me as a member, I come here to the Survey Giants panel, okay? And I'm asked right here, join the Survey Giants panel. Now, whether they had saw some media and saw the URL, they were in the storefront and they saw the QR code, or you've deployed out an email invitation, this is where they're going to come to, okay? And I'm able to go ahead and give some profile information that you're able to use in order for segmentation and targeting your campaigns, okay? And you're able to edit and select what you want to ask here, okay? These are just the one that Survey Giants have decided that they want to obtain for their community, okay? So I get my information in here. And so you see this is pretty quick for me to register. My final information here, the email address in which I would like to be contacted at. Myself a user password and verify that. And now I'm into my member portal. I am now a member of this community. And some of the things that I can do once I get into this community is I can see if there's any surveys available for me and how many points I'm going to be rewarded. I can already see that I've already received 10 points. Great, rewarded instantly. And as a little advantage to the admin, okay, I'm asking this user to confirm their message was sent to them, okay? So we can make sure that email that's coming into our community is actually live and it has a person attached to the end of it. I can also click my rewards as a member and see what awards are available to me when I have the correct amount of points to redeem. I can go in and update my profile information. Oh, I didn't answer marital status yet? Great. Let me let you know that, okay? And this is information now that me as an administrator of this community, I can send out targeted campaigns on, I can analyze data against. As a member, I can update my account information, of course, if I need to change my password or update my details or see my points history. And if I decided, as such as Survey Giants has with this community, we can engage in discussions. We can talk about community topics. We can talk about things that are going on. We can talk about latest trends. And we can do that all within the portal, meaning that we're keeping our community engaged. And as well as we can quickly allow them to invite friends. They're having fun, so they're going to want others to join and have a voice and have a say as well. Okay? So we put ourselves in the shoes there, Esther, for the member, you know, for the panelists coming in. But on the admin side, I want to show you how we make that all possible. Here, we're on the Survey Analytics platform. We're on the tool, which is fully integrated, where the panel lives, where we can enable Ideal Scale, our crowdsourcing tool, or we can deploy out to Survey Pocket or Survey Swipe, okay? And, you know, we're going to create a survey. We're going to edit that survey, get on our logic in there, our look and our feel, and all our question types. And now we're ready to send it out to our panel. And we can create multiple panels within our tool, as you can see on this panel tab. I have several panels here in this account, okay? And I simply did that by clicking Create New Panel, giving my panel a name, a heading, and creating the URL for that panel. Once I click Next, my panel is ready to get started. But there's some things I still need to do. Let's take this music producer panel, for instance, okay? I'm going to want to decide how I want that to look and feel. If you see Survey Giants homepage here, you can see it has its own look and feel and tailored to that community, okay? They even do a great thing here and says how Survey Giants works and gives a quick 5 steps, okay? Setting the expectations up front. In the case of the music producer panel that we're getting ready to look at, you can see it has its own look and feel. And again, look at smallbusinessopinions.com. Totally different than the two I just showed you. And that's achieved here in the Survey Analytics tool under the panels. I can go in and can customize my site HTML pages, okay? I can control the CSS and style sheets. I can control the individual pages such as the home page. If I want to have a terms of use, a contact, privacy policy, frequently asked questions, etc., this can be done right in the tool and on the fly. And again, we can customize the site behavior. If we do not want to do points and rewards, we simply disable that. If we want to do discussions, our community questions, our live discussions, we enable that, okay? And as you can see, the panel tool has other things beyond points and rewards, just as I showed you in discussions. So we can post out as an admin questions to the community. Community questions, the community can post questions to each other. Live discussions, we have the ability to jump in on an online tool, have a chat session with a whiteboard, and we can follow up from a quantitative study and do some qualitative in-depth research with those who we have selected from our community from the survey that they just taken. Okay, so we can customize this. The next thing that we saw is that when I joined and I was that member, that I answered some member profiling questions. So here on the admin side, we click member profile and we set those up. In the case of the music producer panel, we want to know which genre of music they're listening to. Okay, we simply can go in and edit and modify this. Right now, their answer options are alternative, rap, hip hop, R&B, etc. Maybe there's something we're missing, such as bluegrass or jazz. Maybe we want to add that and we want to see how many are listening to that in the community. We can add that answer option and we can get that updated information from the community member. So it's easy to edit our profile fields and it's easy to add our profile fields. We simply give it a title and a label and we select if we want it to be multiple choice, a date input, a free form, or address collection information. And we put our answer options here. Once we have our member profile fields, okay, we are ready to import members. And this is important. As you saw, I joined, I went in, I gave information. But in some cases, you may already have data or have email addresses. And if you have these, you can import them in bulk from a simple Excel or CSV file, okay? In our system, all you need is just the email address. If you know their first name and last name, or they're taking a password from a previous system that you're using with those, you can bring that in as well, or you can just leave those fields empty. But most importantly, any of those member profile fields that I've set up, such as music genre, if I already know that data, maybe I did a past online survey or I have a paper survey with that data, I can bring it into the system at the same time that I bring in those members, okay? And the next step, you know, when we're thinking about our engagement process and how we're going to do this, are we doing posters, QR codes, do we have a mailing list, etc.? At some point, we're going to start sending out invitations to our community, okay? And we can go ahead and set up invitations for different projects, for different studies, and have those templates ready and available by simply clicking Add New Template, giving it a name and subject, and putting in our message and tailoring our message to our group. Once we've done so, we're ready, Esther, to go ahead and click New Invitation in our project. Select the survey from our Survey Analytics account, and as you can see, it's all integrated. Now, we do have the ability to add a custom survey provider, and that chance that you have that survey located somewhere else, and that's fine, no worries there. We select the invitation that we've set up in our invitations. If we're using points and rewards, we're going to go ahead and give points. Now, not only can we give points for those who complete the survey, but it's also important to reward those who either go over quota or terminate. You know, some studies they're just not always going to qualify for, but we don't want members to decide that they want to opt out of the community because of this. You don't understand how many times when working in qualitative research, how many people I had said, hey, I want to be removed from the database because I never qualify for a study. Okay, so this is a good way to retain those people. After we've selected our survey, we're going to go to the next step, and this is the fun step. We've collected all that information. We've gotten all that profile information, okay? And I think we said earlier, it's important that we make sure that we're on target, we're on point, and we're on message, and we take care of our community. Well, let's make sure that the surveys that we're sending out go out to the correct people. In terms of the music producer panel, hey, if I have a pop artist who is wanting to get feedback on their new release, then I'm probably going to want to send it out to those who listen to that genre. They may have a subgenre as well that would fit. So we may want to ask those who enjoy R&B music as well, and we send it out to those two demographic points. But in conjunction to that, I may say, hey, I also only want to target those who are 18 to 24 or 25 to 34, etc. So I can do a combination of these attributes, okay? So kind of taking care of some of the fallout points right from the start. Now we still want to validate some of that up front in our survey, but we can take care, save some efficiency not only for us on our side, but also as well as for the community member. We're going to click next step here. We get to decide when we want to schedule this or if we want to send it out for immediate delivery. Click final preview and get a look at our email messages going out and what we've selected. And then we process for delivery. It's deployed. It's out there. And guess what, Esther? We're now collecting data, okay? Good value feedback and data, and which is going to roll into our reports, which we can go into our Survey Analytics account and look at our reports and see that data come in. We can go in and click our Analytics tab and do some more advanced analytics in our tool. And of course, we can export this data. And as you can see, I just went through that process. I just set up a panel. I set up a member portal, and I did that all within minutes. We don't have to, of course, the recruiting time takes more, we have to get people in there. This is all going to go over time, but the setup is easy, and you can see there's a lot of value in it. And again, I must stress, it's all integrated. So what you think, Esther?
That's incredible. So, oh man, I'm overwhelmed with how easy this is. So are you telling me that I can have as many panel communities within this, or how does that work?
Yes, absolutely. If you want to have your beverage community, go for it. If you want to have your automobile community, go for it. If you want to have your mobile community, I mean, we know what's hot right now, right? All of us in the research industry, we know what's getting ready to grow. We know what's buzzing, right? Why not do, Survey Analytics and MicroPanel offers the ability to pre-screen for which community that they should end up going into, okay? There's a lot. I didn't go into everything for the sake of everyone's time, but we can really do a lot into this tool. And as you saw, it's easy to get started. And we can enable and disable the items that we want to use or do not want to use at any time. If we decide that we don't want to use discussions to start with, but later on we decide that that's important to our community, then we enable it. Okay. One thing I do want to show, Esther, is we talked about it. We talked about the integration of points and rewards, okay? And I think we saw here when we went to My Rewards, we saw what was available to this community member. What happens on the panel tool within Survey Analytics is we simply click points and rewards. You see this view credit transaction log. I call that the piggy bank. You talk to your account manager, you put what you want into the little piggy. We click add new reward. And we can select from custom rewards, but what's most value and efficient is to use our integrated, such as Giftango and Perks. And so if you want to reward with Papa John's gift certificate or with an Amazon gift card or Starbucks, you simply select that, okay? Click Save Changes. Before you click Save Changes, decide how many points you want that offer to be. And fulfillment email address is just to notify you, okay? The rest is going to handle itself. When that member goes and clicks redeem, they get the information and it's done. You just get a nice little email to let you know that a reward has been redeemed. We click save here. And we click add new item. We select how many of those gift cards we want to be available. It takes that money from the piggy bank and it's done. And at any point, I can click export stats and see how many items have been redeemed and by whom.
Wow, that's incredible. So, man, I think probably some of the other things people are worried about is just the rewards section and how that's managed, but that makes it very, very easy. So thank you.
Yes.
Wonderful. So let's go ahead and move on. We'll talk a little bit about pricing here. We were on this page just a little bit earlier. I'm sure people have read it through. But to get started on Survey Analytics and with MicroPanel, it's $8,000 for the Survey Analytics Enterprise Research Platform license. And that includes all the different question types, logic, deployment options, and everything as well. So if you're interested in learning more about the tool itself, feel free free to contact our sales team on that. And if you'd like to add some additional users to it, it's $1,000 per additional admin license. You can have multiple people working on the same projects if needed. And if you'd like to add on the Marker Panel tool, it starts off at $6,000 per 250,000 panelists. That is an incredible amount to start with, and it's a very affordable rate, especially with how easy it is to get it set up in as little as 30 minutes if you like. We do offer some custom pricing, so if you're interested in a panel that is going to grow, maybe up to 1 million or even more, we can handle those things, and we do have custom pricing available for those. So that is a wonderful thing. So not only can you do a small panel, a very small and precise little panel, you can even grow it and make multiple panels and really make that part of your core business. For our webinar, for anyone who's attending, we're going to
Looks like we lost Esther's audio there, but John, can you try saying something so I can know that we can hear you too?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I apologize. I put myself on mute the whole time. I was talking.
Okay.
Okay, so where did I left off?
Well, Esther, we lost you when you got to the discount, but I'm sure you had some other brilliant moments in between the muting of your audio as well. So go for it.
I don't know. I guess the discount part, I should just keep that silent, right? No, just kidding. So actually, the discount we do want to offer, it's $2,000 off of the Survey Analytics license if you purchase the license within 20 days. And this is exclusive to all webinar attendees, and it's a great deal. I suggest to contact our sales team to get started on a free trial account. The free trial will include an opportunity to use both the Survey Analytics platform and MicroPanel, so you can even start building a little tiny panel, and we can give you firsthand experience on how easy it is to get started. So I strongly encourage you to reach out today and contact us, because we think that in terms of the pricing and the ability to get something going, it's really a unique product in comparison to our competitors.
So Dana, I know we let you be quiet for a very, very long time here. You kind of spoke just a little bit. I know you're there. But is there any questions? Is there any questions that anyone has out there, Dana?
Yeah, there are a number of good questions, and go ahead, listeners, and submit more into the question box. But the first question is just a logistical question, which is, will this presentation PowerPoint deck be available to us after the presentation? And the answer is yes. Everybody who attended will get an email from me with a link to not just the deck, but also a recording of the webinar, so you can share it with your colleagues or watch it again.
Great.
The next question is, can you talk more about Facebook and LinkedIn integration? How does that work?
Okay. I guess I'll cover that one, Esther. Facebook and LinkedIn integration is great. We kind of do two levels of that too, right? Most people, if you already have a Facebook presence and you're there, why not allow users to log in using their Facebook or LinkedIn credentials? And this is a good thing. It makes it efficient, it makes it easy for them, and it makes it quick. But also on top of that, you get to collect a little bit of the data that they already have available on Facebook. So you're going to get their name already put into their account. You're going to go ahead and take care of the login, but also it forms as a form of verification. Okay. And again, you also have an ability to kind of get promotion. Not kind of, you get promotion, right? When they join or they take a survey and are using the integration with Facebook, then their friends get to see that, hey, this person's a part of that community, maybe I should too. So you get to make them, promoters of your community. And again, if you only want them, or if you only want select members, or this is a private private panel and you're bringing these members in, yes, the answer to not posting on Facebook can be done and is easy within our tool. Again, I have to say, we can enable and we can disable.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it's really easy how you can just turn that on and off, and sure enough, the question appears right there on Facebook, and they see, oh, my friend joined this community. Maybe this is something I want to do.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Next question is, what happens if I sign up for a panel but don't want to give you some info, such as income?
Okay. Esther, you want me to take that one? I'm more than
Um,
happy.
Well, I guess, from a standard research aspect is that if you don't provide, particular information, basically, if it is a profiling question that needs to be considered to send you out a survey or be a part of a discussion, then you won't be a part of it. So, and we are okay with, opting out on certain things. I mean, it's really, I think, John, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but if there are certain items that are not required, then you can go ahead as a panel member. You can skip those if you're not comfortable. But if they are required, then you do have the option of adding that in. Or I think as a person who's an admin, you may want to add a question or an answer saying I do not wish to share or something like that.
Yeah, Esther, actually, you said something perfect there. Two things is that you can set up particular member, or as we call them, profile fields that you're going to segment or deploy campaigns on. You can select which ones that you want required. These must be answered, and you can select ones that, okay, it's fine if you don't answer that. But a good way to tackle it, as well as Esther said, put an answer option in there that says decline to answer, just so you know that they haven't forgotten to answer that one. They just, they no longer want to, they do not wish to share that information, and they would like to proceed forward and still be a part of the community. And you kind of set what standards that you want there. So it's easy to do.
Okay. And the next question is, do you have a set number of reward points you can give per year? How does that work?
I like the points and rewards. There isn't a set number. You get to come up with that. You get to sit down and think about your campaign, right? It's a bit budget driven. You know that, hey, I'm going to have X amount of community members, and I'm also have X amount of money for rewards throughout the year. So you get to set how many points before they are able to redeem a gift certificate, but as well as as you deploy your surveys, you can look at how many points are out there. You can even, within the panel tool, say, hey, I only want to send this survey out to those who only have a few points thus far in the system, right? You can make this a criteria. So that way, those who are right on the brink and you're sending out an easy survey don't automatically just go out and get to redeem yet. So you definitely have full user control of your budget and your campaign in regards to the points and rewards.
Okay, and the next question is, have you used these panels for recruiting for usability testing and qualitative research?
Esther?
For these panels, for some of our clients, yes, we have been able to use it for usability, research, and qualitative. And with the tools I believe John had showed, you can do online focus groups and chats and everything as well. So it is available. If you are familiar with the online focus groups, which are becoming more and more popular, we have that available, and it becomes a part of their information and participation that they've done. So, and depending on what kind of usability, because actually John and I, we used to do a lot of usability studies. We can do diary style things and trends for different reports. So it's a really an interesting platform to do that kind of work, and it is capable of handling UI studies and also qualitative.
Yeah, the good part about the system, just to kind of paint the scenario for that is, up front you can segment and decide, who needs to meet my criteria. You can deploy out a survey to those people to go more in depth and make sure they really fit the criteria needed for this qualitative discussion. Once they've completed that, those who meet that criteria can immediately be invited to a feedback session. And that feedback session would be your qualitative standpoint, or you would be able to invite those into that group session. You will have your whiteboard where you can display video or other media that you want to look at. And then you're able to take that transcript along with that, with the data from the survey as well, and analyze it.
So we have a fair number more questions, so let's make the remaining questions a bit more on the rapid fire Q&A approach, and
Yes,
then we'll
yes.
follow up with folks. We'll follow up with folks individually with their questions if it doesn't happen to get answered. The next question is there a way to ensure panelists don't get more than one survey per month?
Yes, we can enable resting periods. Easy, done with resting periods.
Okay. Next question: is that a one-off price or is it annual?
That is an annual price.
Okay. How do you manage rewards for international participants? Can they be country specific?
We our rewards is flexible. We can do lots of things, and if we want to, whatever that particular question is out there, let's have the conversation. Let's see what we're looking to do there.
Okay. Can you do something interactive like an online bulletin board, or is this more used for asking your panelists a series of surveys?
Yeah, you know, one of the key things, as I said, we can do surveys. I want to get through this one quick. We can do surveys, we can do points and rewards. We have 3 different types of discussions we can do. We can make general announcements right when they log in. Community questions allows for them in their member portal to post questions back and forth. So you have a lot of things in there. There's other engagement things besides surveys.
Okay, what's the difference between survey analytics and micropanel? What is in each?
Well, survey analytics is where you would create the survey, and then the panel is where you would build a community of, you know, either your customers or panelists who want to take those surveys, so to speak. The one great thing about the two is that even though you have your panel and you have your survey, if you just want to deploy a separate survey completely, you don't have to run it through the panel. And if you just want to do like a discussion or open-ended, you know, online forum or something, you don't have to deploy survey analytics or a survey in order to trigger these things. So they work together, but they can also be worked separately as needed.
Okay, next question is, do you have Salesforce.com integration?
Yes.
Okay, next question, Survey Swipe. Is this an app that can be accessed offline, or does one have to be online throughout?
Survey Swipe is a mobile application, so of course it works off of, you know, the cellular. So our offline solution would be Survey Pocket, which is our tablet solution.
Okay, the next one says, who should I contact about having Survey Analytics participate in an upcoming RFP process? I guess I'll answer that. The contact information for both Esther and John will be on the later slide. You also can contact us at sales-team@surveyanalytics.com. Okay. Are the reporting features included in the Survey Analytics Enterprise Research Platform license?
Yes.
Yes, that is.
Okay. Are the rewards, gift cards, etc., standard in the system, or do we have to work toward building rewards?
Rewards and gift cards that are in the system that are integrated are in the system. There's nothing you need to do, but if you want to use customize, or if there's not a gift card that you see on there, or if you're going to be doing your own back-end raffle and drawing, you most definitely can customize that and use it for the accumulation of points and for the redemption. But you will have to handle, if it's not an integrated reward, the giving it to the respondent. So, you know, You have to run down to the mailbox and send them off that special gift card.
Okay. Can I use my own domain name for the portal site versus a micropanel subdomain?
No.
I'm sorry, no. You can't customize it?
We the domain names they end in micropanel dot micropanel on our system. We can talk about we can have a conversation about custom domaining if needed. Yes.
Okay. Are there any monthly fees associated with the product beyond the license fee?
Esther?
Not in the foreseeable. I mean, as John's mentioned quickly, there is if you do want to do some white labeling or branding, then yes, that is a separate conversation. If there are any issues or things that you are looking for, we can negotiate and talk to you about those in detail. But initially, if you purchase this item or purchase micropanel and Survey Analytics as is, there are no additional fees. What you see from the pricing page is what you get.
Okay, and the next question is, the rewards money is above and beyond. Is the reward money above and beyond the yearly fees to use the program?
Yes.
In other
Go
So
ahead.
the rewards, yeah. So they're asking, are the rewards separate or included in the license fee?
So the rewards are separate. If you would like to go ahead and include it in your tag it onto the in your invoice for the licensing fees and cover all those costs in one invoice and in one purchase, we can do that.
Okay. Do you have guidelines or best practices for how many points should be good for a certain reward? Is there a common conversion ratio?
Esther, do you know the conversion ratio, or do you have one?
Well, usually the standard that most people go with is usually I've seen 5 or 10 points given out to each of the surveys, and then of course if the survey is going to take a lot longer, then they will probably offer between 20 to 50 points depending on how long it takes to take a survey. And those are just some basics of what I've been working with my clients on. But really one of the things about our tool is that it's very flexible, so you can choose and say, well, I don't really like the 5-point or 10-point system. I want to go with something else. So that's really up to you and how you want to create that.
Okay, next question is, does the email have the option of including how many points a panelist currently has, in addition to how many will be earned if they participate in the invited survey?
Ooh, I like that. That is a great enhancement potential. To date, the email only includes how many points that they will be receiving, but of course they can always check their status of their points inside of the member portal. But I like that as a potential enhancement for the email deployment.
Okay, and is there an option to schedule panelists for in-person CLTs, focus groups, etc.?
So for CLT, so taste test, so just for scheduling, there isn't a scheduler within the community for things that are not happening inside. And I think where I'm seeing where that question is coming from, because I've of course worked with qualitative databases, and so we can manage other things that are going on, within the organization, such as client taste testings, and kind of keep track on other things that members may be doing. And we don't have that scheduling ability is not on the micropanel tool.
Okay, are newsletters integrated into the system?
You are easily able to deploy out newsletters using our broadcast feature. Okay, so you do not always have to send out a survey or attach a survey with your communications to members, as well as you can upload newsletters and reports to be available within the members portal.
Okay, and is there a benchmark that's a standard for good response rate in the panel?
Go ahead, Esther. I'll let you get that one since I've been jumping on all of them.
That's all right. Well, I think that really depends on what kind of panelists you have. I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean, if you have an audience of general populations, obviously you know, your response rates are going to be totally different versus an incidence level of someone who, you're looking for people with diabetes over 65 who use a particular medication. So, it really depends on, what kind of projects you have. So there's no one real answer to this at this moment. But usually the participation rates usually run between, I think, 10 to 15% or something like that. As at a low incidence, higher than that, you can see much, depending on the type of people you're looking for and the type of incentive you put out, those will range even higher than that. So hopefully that'll also answer that, and we can always do a follow-up on that as well.
Okay, and it looks like that's it for the questions.
Well, yeah, well, that's good. Those are a lot of good questions. I love questions. And I hear the Oscar and Grammy music rolling, Dana, and really thank you for allowing us to do this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Great. So again, yes, thank you so much for attending today. And I guess, John, those were your last words.
I hear, I could give an acceptance speech, but, it may take some time. What I do want to say, though, is I have worked in project management, qualitative and quantitative side, and have ran a database and ran, a field services group. And I really have to say now working on the software and technology side and helping clients as well, as I love the efficiency that all this builds in and wish I had that before.
Great, much
So
agreed with that.
let's show people how to get in touch. And there it is. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate your time today, and we look forward to speaking with you.
Thank you.